Hi everybody, it's Derek Perniciglio for Super Clean. And whether you work around the shop, the garage, or the home, spills are going to happen. And now, Super Clean introduces their new Super Clean floor absorbent into their new product line to make cleaning up spills faster and easier. This all-natural product comes in an easy-to-pour 3-pound shaker jug. Just shake out the amount you need over your spill, give it a few minutes to absorb, and then clean up in an instant. Unlike traditional clay products, this product is virtually dust-free and absorbs 4 times faster. Now, we break out our Super Clean cleaner and degreaser for a 1-2 punch to clean up the stain completely. You can pick up your own 3-pound shaker jug of all-natural Super Clean at AutoZone, and you can also check us out at superclean.com. Super Clean, super easy, super fast, super clean.
Barry filled in the missing gap in his win list back at Wild West. Now all focus can be aimed at clinching the championship. This week, the drivers will determine who walks away with the crown as we get ready to watch Round 9 of the 2022 iRacing Short Course National Series, live on Podium Esports. Hi, I'm Joe Peak, and joining me in the booth tonight is the voice of off-road, Dave Arnold. Our producer for this evening is Ryan Bauer, and he's using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. And Dave, we've been here twice before. This is going to be our last visit for the season. I guess if the drivers haven't figured this place out by now, then they're kind of out of luck.
Yeah, definitely. This is always a challenging track for sure. I mean, after last week's racing, I'm thinking these guys are getting a little bit closer. They're putting some time on, and I think they've been practicing at Bark River. And with the race they've had here before, and this being the last one, some guys want to take Connor Berry down, Keaton Swain, the guys that know how to put it on top of the box. Targets are on their back for sure.
Yeah, I kind of anticipate a bit of the same. And of course, for this season, as we mentioned, we have this one and one more this week, Bark River and then Crandon for the finale. First time we'll race the full version of it since the first race of the season. But focusing on this track here at Bark River, Dave, we've got an exciting layout. We were here twice before, as mentioned, but for our viewers, let's take a little bit of a glance at this 12-turn circuit.
Wow, this is definitely a high-speed, track for sure. But you have a few places to pass. But some of these corners, you can see that they're sweepers. It gets really hard to pass because the speeds are so high. Positioning yourself in the right spot is going to be key tonight. As you take it through turn 1, and you can see how it just continues all the way through 2, 3, and 4. Kind of like a little bit of a chicane in there into 5, where it wraps it around through 6. You have a hard right, and then a big sweeper again 7. They're going to be carrying a lot of speed through there as they get into 9, bring it to 10, 11, 12, and man, the pedal's going to be down.
Yeah, I can see just how much of it is looking so fast on that above view, but for today's race, we are looking at heats with 6 laps each, and then the top 4 of each of those goes on to the final. And actually, it looks like I'm seeing information that it'll be top 3 here. So top 3 in each of those heats will be going to the finals. So LCQ, 4 laps, and then I believe similarly, top 3 will go to the finale from the LCQ. And the final event, 12 laps of racing with a competition caution at the end of lap 5. And they're just getting started on the qualifying right now. And we saw last time, it seemed like that qualifying a little bit important here. You mentioned how tough it is to try and make overtakes. And we did see it the last time we visited here. There were drivers who seemed to have a lot more pace than those in front and just could not seem to do anything with it.
Yeah, and that's the frustrating part about this track. You got to get a qualifying time. And if you're not up front, you're back there 4th, 5th, and you're battling, it's going to slow you down a little bit. So the guys out front, they're going to start running away.
The one corner I'm going to be watching out for is here in turn 6. We saw a lot of contact into that corner last time out where drivers just got bunched up, especially the first and second lap when everybody is so eager for positions. And that's coming off of that huge jump where they're just flying into that thing. So I wonder if we'll get more drivers winding up on their lid as well. Josh Edmondson is really wheeling this thing around.
It's kind of cool to watch these things back into the corners with these Pro 4s. They could really just turn it in the air, get that vehicle rotating, and just sets them up perfectly for the corners.
Looks like he's going to abandon that lap. They get 4 laps to try and get a time in as Jake Hill uses the berm there, coming out of 11. They're out of turn 10, rather. And then just those last 2 and across the line. Looks like a 1:17.7 is going to get him on the board, but only in 8th. He's a little bit far down the order. Zach Knowles now pops the 0.99 into 4th position. We switch over to the 91 of Felix Roy.
And one of the things about these tracks, it's a mile and a half. It's a little bit longer than the mile or just under a mile tracks that we do normally. So, we're seeing times before in the 50, 51s, saw 49s. Now we're minute plus, minute 10s, 12s, 13, 14s. You're going to see them all over the place. They're right there, Connerberry, 114, but I think I've seen them down a little bit lower than that, possibly little 113s, 112, 99.
Yeah, and Drapkin here looks like he is intensely focused on trying to get one onto the board as he has not set a time yet. He's only got about 6.5 minutes left, so I don't think he's going to get all 4 of them in. Actually, might be able to get around in time for all of those if he really hustles. And so far, it's not looking like a quick one based on my timing and scoring right now. I'm not sure if this one will be very representative for him, but as it slows up into the latter half of the course, very technical through here, where the drivers start to slow it down, use every inch that they can. Didn't get up on the berm like we've seen a lot of guys do through 10. So will that cost him here as he crosses the line? A 15.3, that's decent, and that'll get him onto the second row into 4th.
Perfect. Ironically, I actually ran into him too at the jet ski races this last weekend with his family. Dad, his brother, his mom were all out there. Ran into a couple of my short course people out in Havasu.
Well, glad they're having a good time here as spring starts to roll in. Tom Grady, rather, is currently on his lid, unfortunately. Well, that's...
he's up and over.
Yeah, he does have other qualifying laps left, so if he wants to get back out there, he can. But it looks like he actually parked his truck, so yeah, it looks like he might not be back out there. So Mason Prater, in the meantime, the number 1 is coming around to try and improve on his 6th position. He's got a 1:15.5 as his best time, and his second lap got deleted. He goes way wide down into 6th, so that's probably not going to be the quick way around here, but you mentioned backing into the corner really did there as we go over to Rory Folsom in the meantime.
Yeah, it was good to see Mason back, but he was absent last weekend, and that's not one of his favorite tracks. He always does really well at this one, so he's going to be fighting for it. But Rory, he's definitely got that intense look looking on, and you can tell from that driver's point of view the speeds that they're going to, and you can watch the reaction. If you watch your right side, and then you watch his hands on the left side, you see how much shifting he's hitting those paddles, constantly adjusting the wheel there, kind of sawing it back a little bit, trying to keep that truck straight.
The mustache to make Nigel Mansell jealous. Let's hope that that comes in handy around this place with some of the big leaps that they have to take at high speeds. Slows it down through turn 9 and back into 10. Way off the apex, though. Brings it up onto the outside as it bounces around into the last two. Double left-hander and to the line. It's looking like it's going to be quick. Let's see if the time reflects that. No, the lap got deleted. Folsom's going to have to cycle back around yet again, and he goes way off into the grass as we come over to Connor Berry, the man that has been dominating this season and sits in a good position to claim the championship. This could be decisive. If somebody manages to beat him today here, Dave, I got to think that that at least gives a glimmer of hope that they can take it to the finale.
Well, it's definitely going to have to be the guys that are close in points, like Swain and even Drapkin. Barry's going to have a rough time tonight for it really to affect his points. And, you know, that's the biggest thing is he's been so polished and so smooth. He's a hard one to rattle.
Yeah, I'm not banking on it, if I'm honest. I'm feeling like based on his performances earlier this season, he's probably just going to continue on his merry way, especially considering the pole time has half a second over Josh Edmondson, and he's still on his last one right here, so he could yet improve from that 14.3. So far, this has been looking flawless on this lap around. Haven't really seen any bobbles. You talked about how smooth he is. Everything looks incredibly intentional.
Oh, yeah. I mean, exactly where he wants to put it. He picks his marks on the tracks. You know, you'll pick a sign, a building, a corner worker, and you just know where that truck's going to be at that point when you look at that position. You know this.
Looks like he did not improve, unfortunately. So 2 minutes left on the clock. Edmondson comes back out. So he's going to try and see if he can pick that up. And he just started his final flyer now. Nathan Ramsey in the 29 with a 23.8 last time through. And in fact, that's last place on the board I'm seeing. He's about 3 seconds off. So must have been something that went wrong for that 29 car the last time by as he bounds it over the couple of bumps out of 10 and into 11 across the line for his second lap. He'll have one more chance after this at 22.9. That's much quicker, but not quick enough to get himself out of last place.
Well, we're watching Edmondson again. Let's see if he can knock that thing up and see if he can challenge Connor Berry's question.
58 doesn't look like this is a fast lap right now. He's still got a few more corners to improve. It'll depend on how good he is in the slower turns. Really chucks it in as it leans on that left front, digs into the corner, and then accelerates out into 10, 11, and 12. It's at least decent so far, but again, I'm not seeing improvements on his sectors here. So the 58 comes to the line and crosses 14.6. He's about a tenth quicker.
Ooh.
It's not going to be pole, but he goes faster.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm looking at the temperature outside, the track temperature. When it gets hot, it gets humid there. The track gets heavy, the trucks get sluggish. And it just looks like things are, even though it's smooth, it just looks like the trucks are just having just a little bit more sluggish in some of the corners.
Cooper moves up to 24th. Ramsey, in the meantime, is going to try and get himself off of the last position. Somebody's got to take it. Is it going to be him? Crosses the line. It is going to be him. That is too slow to go quicker. So Plumley now the next one across and doesn't have it counted. That's the last of our drivers able to set a time. Let's go through. No, excuse me. We're going to wait just a second here as the heat gets populated for that first race. And it's going to be the first of 3 heats this evening with our 30 cars that are going to be lining up. First one naturally has 10 with Connor Berry on the pole. It's Keaton Swain in second with Tom Grady in third. After that, Zach Knowles to his outside. Trenton Briley will be P5. Jaden Zane Minder is going to be in 6th. Daniel Aish in 7th. Cameron Magashik starts P8. You've got Bill Lester in 9th and Nicholas Queen rounding out your top 10.
A couple new names added to the board, I just noticed.
Yeah, interesting stuff here this evening. See how they fare as This will be our first real chance to check out how they do in a group. It's going to be a bit different with 10 trucks out on track as opposed to just coming across one every once in a while there in practice and then all by yourself out in the qualifying. Yeah, you talked about the track, the temperature out here and the humidity. It is about 54% humidity currently out there, kind of what you tend to expect up in the Midwest, up in Michigan here. And is this something where the higher heat, 90 degrees Fahrenheit, is that going to dry it out quicker? Oh, no, excuse me, we don't have time.
No.
It's a standing start. And Connor Berry is going to take off and take the lead away, just moving in front of the 21 of Keaton Swain. And as they swing down into turn 2, it looks like he is going to be able to retain the lead. Grady currently runs in third. They pretty quickly go single file.
And you see Swain trying to get his nose to the inside of Barry. You can really see how he held on that gas. You can see that nose went real high. He really kept that pedal on, trying to catch a little bit on Connor. But fortunately, he's just going to have to tuck in there. And Grady, how about Grady? What a great start there. Able to hold on to the third, keeping Swain and Barry within his sights.
And Knowles hit the wall coming down at a turn 6 there a little bit. Hopefully that didn't damage him too much. He also got a bump from Minder in the 415. But as they head on into turn 8 now, it's looking very clear for Barry and Swain. Like you mentioned, is somebody's off track.
Yeah, Trenton Briley looks like got that thing up on the bicycle, able to bring it down, but unfortunately, looks like he got shuffled back about 5-6 positions.
Down to 8th, yeah. He is going to have some work to do after that one. Not the place where you want to lose out on those. And again, the top 3 advance to the feature automatically after these 6 laps. Barry and Swain with already a 1.5 second lead after a single circuit around. Grady is trying desperately to keep that transfer spot away from Knowles, who has recovered from his contact with the wall. He flies towards the quick chicane of 4 and 5 as the big jump up ahead of him over the leap and down the hill. Let's see if he can keep off the wall this time. Knowles much better into turn 6, but he's also a little bit farther back from the 5.35, starting to get himself some breathing room.
Yeah, Knowles trying to, get it in there. And I think when he got a little wide in that corner, he lost that momentum. If he would have kept it up on that inside, he might have been able to push Knowles out a little bit.
No such luck at this point. So for Knowles, it is just a defense right now. He is continuing to drop away from the 21, way up on that berm for a few of them, really using it. They are allowed to. There is no rule against getting up onto that grass there. It's basically all legal. And as they come over the leap, once again through the start-finish line on into lap 3, it's now up to 2 seconds between Swain and Grady. But Swain is still within about 0.6 of Connor Berry. He's making sure to keep him honest up there, you can see from on board of Knowles.
Yeah, and I'm watching Grady, though. When we watch that one jump, he's a little sideways. He might be starting to overdrive that truck. One, trying to play the rabbit in front of those, but trying to chase down. He sees these guys in front of him. He wants to catch up. Sometimes you might drive a little frustrated. You gotta just kind of suck it down. Hold on and protect that position, because that is the last qualifying spot there, and Knowles wants it. Grady, get the elbows out.
It's Knowles getting the elbows out as he gives him a hello coming through turn 7, and he's going to have the inside into 8 potentially here. Does he dare try and move him out of the way? No, they're going to give each other space. Switches back, could cut underneath as Knowles tries to get the launch off of turn 9, but not there. It looks like the 535 is going to fend him off for now.
Well, looking for racing action has not disappointed us at all. These guys are going for it here in the event, and it's clean. Nobody's trying to, get dirty, take anybody out. They're really, when hey, I don't want to get into it, I'm going to back it off a little bit. I'll set him up on the next turn. That's what's going through his head.
Yeah, and you got to think the speeds are so high here. A little bit of a touch, get out of control. That could be bad news. So coming out of, exactly, out of turn 3, he's going to have to reset himself up. He managed to get side by side for a couple corners. He's lost about 2 truck lengths up and over the leap down into turn 6. Tom Grady once again clear, but strong into the corner, almost getting the overlap, but the 099 isn't quite there that time.
Yeah, he's just trying to get it up there. Every time you can see him trying to get up there, he sees a little daylight. But unfortunately, the momentum that Grady has is just keeping him off.
Grady doing everything he needs to right now. Behind them, a battle between Magashik and Briley, and I think Trenton finally gets one of the spots back that he lost. That happened through turns 7 and 8, so nicely done to the 17. He's trying to keep Magashik from coming back at him now as we hop on board with Zach Knowles.
Yeah, great perspective there. You can see Knowles trying to stay out of the line, trying to do something different, because if you follow him, you're not going to pass him. You got to set that truck up. You got to look for the daylight. Sometimes you show him a nose, hit the brakes, slide in, do a little slide job. You'll see a lot of the drivers, they'll try to change up the position.
Right now, not close enough for something like that.
Oh.
Through 4 and 5 once again. This is where he's been strong here, coming into 6, setting up for 7. At times, he's been able to poke his nose here and there, and yep, he wants it, but he can't quite get it side by side. Switching back into turn 7, and he really seems to like this part. He gains yet again, just about gets to the bumper, but he can't get the traction.
Grady's just kept his nose right on that curtain. You know, he's just not going to leave. You couldn't even see a crack of sun.
Certainly not. And through turn 9, that time he at least got up to the quarter panel. But Knowles has been having a rough time, and they're going to get the white flag this time by. There goes our leaders. Connor Berry leading Swain, who seems to have had either an error or just lack of pace late in the race. It's up to 2.3 seconds, P1 to P2.
Yeah, definitely a little bit quicker, you know, earlier on. Looks like they've slowed down just a little bit. But Berry, he's got, you know, close to 2-second gap on Swain right now. With 1 lap to go, pretty much he feels confident. And it looks a little bit bigger than, I think it's gone up to like 2.5 now.
Yeah, he's continuing to eke away from that number 21 machine. Meanwhile, the reverse is happening with Knowles getting ever closer to Grady. That's bad news considering he's usually strong right here. Oh, but he starts to lose control down through turn 6, and that may have cost him the chance.
Yeah, unfortunately, you see when he started to get out of shape, he got on the binder, slowed down just a little bit. Because he doesn't want to take Grady out either. I mean, he wants that position, but if they take out, neither one of them qualifies. And then Minder would get it.
Yeah, well, at least he'll get the pole on the last chance qualifier if he finishes in 4th. So
True.
That'll put him in a good position there, even if he can't get it here. But Connor Berry will take the pole in the feature as he wins the first heat of the night. Keaton Swain trails him home in 2nd. And Tom Grady, avoiding all the challenges from Knowles, will advance. Everybody from here on down heads to the last chance qualifiers from now. Poor Trent Briley only winding up in 7th after starting this thing in 5th.
Yeah, I would have figured he had a little bit more of a relieved look on his face after that one, because Knowles was definitely giving him the pressure.
These guys are always so focused. It kind of surprises me how little emotion we get out of them. But there you see your finishing order. 4th on down. We'll head on over to the LCQ. And that takes us to the next heat of the night. Number 2 has Josh Edmondson on the pole. Christopher Plumley will be in 2nd. It's Mason Prater starting P3. Bryce Simoneau is on his outside. Tyson Miller starts from 5th. And then it's Rory Folsom in the 6th position. Aiden Irvin will be 7th. Trey Blank will be in 8th. And the last row has Bryce Sundquist and Scott Kerr in there. So we said it at the start of the show, and it seemed to prove true in that first race that track position is king at this place. Don't make mistakes, don't give it up, and you should be solid as they're all lined up and ready to go. So we should be getting the lights, and there we go. Green flag is out, and Edmondson is off reasonably well, but he immediately covers off Plumley. By the time they come to the first corner, a little bit of a battle for 3rd. Looks like Prater is also solidly into there, and now they swing into 2.
And you can see Semino back there trying to get up into the fight there, right on Prater. Plumley holding off Prater. Oh, look at Semino trying to show that inside fender there to Mason. Not going to happen, though. Great on board there shot of Semino. Love that gator wrap on there.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite paints. And ahead of him, it looks like Prater is continuing to put the pressure on Plumlee as well. He is all over that rear bumper, just absolutely throws it into turn 7. And as we mostly go single file throughout the field, looks like everybody's safe so far, no major incidents. Edmondson is going to lead them into 8 and 9 and is starting to get at least a little bit of an arm's length away from the 36.
Yeah, 8, 9 into 10. It's just so high speed, it's really hard to set up a pass.
That
you can
was,
see, unfortunately, the infield.
yeah, that was Tyson Miller who took a little bit of a shortcut. He's probably going to get a slowdown penalty from that. Aiden Irvin, I think, followed him through. Matt started from some contact that just kind of bunched everybody up in front of them, and it was a chain reaction from there. Back to Rory Folsom's perspective once again, checking some settings here as he just clicks his keyboard. And the American Racing Design Machine is currently running in 5th, so he is not in a transfer spot. He's got to both overtake Semino and Prater.
Yeah, and that's going to be different there. Semino is definitely going to be, holding the advance off there. But, I think watching Prater up front now, he is trying to get up onto, second. I knew he's in a qualifying position, but Mason doesn't want to settle for it. He wants to go after Plumlee.
Give him an extra spot or two on the grid in the finale. So obviously worth trying, at least if it's there. I'm not sure how risky he's really going to be, though, unless he sees a high percentage move up his sleeve. And he's certainly getting close. He's continuing to nearly make contact with Plumlee.
And, definitely. And Plumlee, he's advanced so much. He's really starting to get this truck dialed in. He's gotten faster and faster around that we've watched him. I mean, Edmondson, we know he's fast. But watching Plumlee get up there and fight with him and hold off like Mason Prater, number 1 in that machine before. He's a back-to-back champion in this class.
So clearly no slouch. And, I agree. Christopher has done a great job at this point through this heat to just keep cool and deal with a truck that is right up on his mud flaps and flying over the jump. He's actually starting to put some daylight between himself and Mason, as I think,
oh no,
there's been a problem, and for 2 cars, that's Plumlee over just as we were praising him. The commentator's curse happens. And Semino had some sort of issue as well. Not sure what.
Well, Roy Folsom, though, sitting right back there. You can see all the way from 6th to 3rd. It's impressive, but sometimes, a little help like that, sometimes it's good to be lucky than good.
Exactly. That gift horse is there. Don't look it in the mouth as we take a look at the replay. Not sure what happened there. That was very strange. Looks like maybe a slowdown penalty of some sort, so must have cut a corner a little too far to the inside. And that, frankly, cost him, because that was Folsom in the replay we saw going by. So Bryce would have been our advancing car if not for that.
Oh, yeah. I loved it seeing watching Folsom just send that thing, just cocked it sideways, backing it in, all set up for the next corner. Just love these Pro 4s.
So will Bryce now try and get back on him, see if he can reclaim that position? They're not too far ahead of Tyson Miller, as well as we watch from the back of Folsom. You can see that Semino in the green, Miller in the red, all down into turn 6, down to the apex, and then swinging back into 7. Once again, we're already halfway through this race.
And look at that, Semino looking at that inside again. Ooh, he's just so close, you can just smell it. I can smell a qualifier.
And yeah, he got a little bit of an overlap last time, so it's definitely there. He can smell it. And as Miller starts to approach the pair of them, he wants to see them fight as well. Now coming into 11 and 12, this is not a place you often see passes, but he is getting scarily close to that 66. He's going to have to stay cool, and he takes a little bit too much sideways slide through there, down to the inside, coming into turn 2, through the jump, he elbows him out of the way, and Semino's going to get 3rd.
Oh, that's going to be close. He landed right next to him. And you see Rory's going to go right back after him. Put a little Cajun hot sauce on him, that's for sure. That thing got right out of the way.
Got bit by the gator, and Folsom suddenly now has Miller trying to see if he can demote him yet one more. Down into turn 6. Not going to push him out of the way like we saw from Bryce. And Bryce is already putting distance between himself and the 66. Way too high on the berm. Miller nearly rolls it.
Yeah, he got up on that bike. He was able to put it down. Surprisingly enough, he didn't really lose other than amount of car length on it. Pretty amazing.
Yeah, that was great. Cool head under pressure there, because I think I probably would have been on my lid at that point as he comes through 9 and back into 10. We're going to be 1 to go here, I believe. Yes, white flag is out for Edmondson with a 2.5-second gap.
Yeah, Edmond's like, hey guys, just fight it out behind me. I'm good with this. Prater, good qualifying position here. He's pretty good at the start, so I think that's always a good advantage. So, you know, Prater knows if he's up in the first 2-3 rows, you'll be good.
Oh, look at this, cutting underneath, trying to do that alternate line you mentioned a little bit earlier. Miller is going where Folsom is not, but he can't get the grip off the corner. Folsom lives to fight another day.
Yeah, it looks like just a little bit of wheel spin there. Lost his momentum coming out of that corner. When you get that side friction, the wheel starts spinning, you're not getting that forward momentum.
Don't need to go to it, but Trey Blank had a little car contact. He wound up 9th and is going to be sent well down the field with him being spun out. But this man, Josh Edmondson, has led every lap of this heat so far in the 58s. And as he comes around the last few left-handers, bounding it over in the Jim Beaver Esports Pro 4, victory goes to Josh Edmondson at Bark River.
Oh boy, those generals dug him right across that line. Gotta love it.
This looks like Prater's second. Semino not giving it up, and even with a little bit of damage, winds up in third. Folsom cycled back to fourth. The first one not to head off to the feature, as Miller was not able to overtake, and everybody from there on down now goes off to the LCQ. We got one more heat here today, but before that, let's take a look at the results. We mentioned Edmondson, Prater, Semino going to advance automatically. Everybody else can still manage to get to that same feature, but they will have to race their way in with one more event before then. And then we've got the last heat, and Felix Roy is going to be starting on the pole of this third heat. It'll be Zachary Drapkin who is in second position, and Nicholas Dashley in third. As I think actually we're waiting for one last car maybe to cross the line here, because yeah, there we go. Now we've got them through. I was wondering why we couldn't get a grid up here. There we go, and that is Lon Franks as well in fourth position. Ryan Lindner will be in the fifth spot. Cross Kirchmeier in sixth position. Jake Hill starts from seventh. Kyle Cooper eighth. And then we've already got the green flag with McCorkle and Ramsey, 9th and 10th. Heading into turn one as the drivers already fly towards the very swift left-handers. Off the course a little bit there for Drapkin and Roy. And coming back through three wide for the lead on the first lap.
Frank's trying to get the inside. Roy on the outside. Drapkin. Ooh, he just stepped off just a little bit. Kind of shocked he backed off on it.
Finally get to single file, and Roy is going to be able to hold off Drapkin, but man, as he got pressure, and behind them they're going to jumble together into turn 6. Thankfully nobody gets turned around, everybody able to keep going. The 56 underneath the 91. And I think he's not going to have it this time, but he's not out of the woods. Felix Roy is going to have to really get the elbows out.
Well, Drapkin's trying to get that, just get his left front fender up on that right rear fender there. Nice moves. He slides under, but not able to take it. Oh, man, Roy just hit that berm just perfect. Bounced it right over. Actually kind of accelerated him a little bit.
I think if I were to be anyone right now, I would want to be Lon Franks, because Zach and Felix are just fighting like it's the last lap of the last race. My goodness. those two are on a trajectory to taking each other out. If they keep this up, in fact, they're going to make contact again through turn 3.
Well, that's the kind of contact I expect. Look at this. Drapkin's trying to set up to the inside. Oh, beautiful move by Roy. Able to switch it back. Kind of like that, the high-speed chicane. So, you know, you got to be set up just right for that. And Drapkin, unfortunately, couldn't get to the inside in time.
Switching back into 7. This is where he started to really make some moves on that first lap and see if he could push him out of the way, but he's not side by side this time. Coming over the jump and down into 8 and 9. We finally seen them calm down, at least for a brief moment. These are all 3 of your advancing positions here, pulling away slightly from 4th place. Looks like Kirchmeier's trying to hold on, but just kind of losing bit by bit.
Yeah, I mean, you can see Frank's there, but it just can't get it up. And Frank's, you know, he's just sitting back. Okay, I'm in a qualifying position. All right, 2 laps to go here. Are they going to get desperate? They're going to take each other out. I think he's sitting just right. Keep Kirchmeier off you, but keep them, you know, within the sights. So if they screw up, you'll be there to capitalize.
Absolutely. Roy about a truck length ahead in that number 91 for the time being, so things have finally settled in slightly. And Drapkin's got to try and regroup, catch back up, see if he can give that aggression again. Behind them, there's really not much racing going on. Port Dashale, though, has had a bad one. He's about 30 seconds back at the very tail end. And unfortunately, looking like he is going to be slotted into the last of the LCQs, the way things are going for the time being. We hop back on with Drapkin once more with one of the most serious faces I've seen in some time as he swings it through the very slow right-hander of turn 9. Can't seem to do what he did on those first laps, although he takes a very different line once again through there.
Well, he's trying to switch it up there, trying to find something a little bit where you can get that, you know, a tenth of a second, you know, and try and get that run on. He wants to get a run up on Felix because, well, I don't know now. Felix is trying to pull away at this point.
Felix has had enough of this. He didn't like having that sort of threat on those first couple laps. So Drapkin maybe trying to throw it into a few different things, see what sticks. They've now only got 2 to go here.
I think it's hurting him. I think he's starting to do a little bit too much. Got to back down that throttle. Looks like he's kind of overdriving just a little bit.
Yeah, I think you're right. He's not nearly as close as he was. The good news is Frank's isn't really close enough to try and take advantage of it. So he's kind of dropped off of this fight. Still,
well, yeah, I was going to say, though, Frank's will still have a better, you know, going into the LCQ of getting that 4th position.
That's a fair point.
Yep.
Now, Kirchmeier trying to run away from Linder, who we were on board with for a brief moment, as Franks takes that green and white machine around turn 9, about 2 seconds away from Drapkin. It's one of our biggest gaps amongst the top 5 or 6 here. Everybody else is still keeping each other within fighting distance. If anybody's has a little slip up, and looking at behind them from there on down, unfortunately, it's massive gaps for the rest of the field. Drapkin goes way, way wide into turn 2 to try and open that one up. Talk about experimenting, my goodness.
Yeah, I think he's just realizing now it's a futile attempt here, because maybe I could find something a little bit better for the main event. He's in a qualifying position, so not bad. You know, I know usually I'd say save the truck, not so much in this world. You get a new one when you start, but you know, don't screw up, don't take a chance, just get your qualifying spot at this point.
Yeah, they're going to get the white flags
coming in.
Exactly, and I'm sure that's probably on his mind. Kirchmeier has probably got to be a little frustrated because he's been so close to Franks at times and has just watched that eke forward as the gap's up to about 1.5 seconds now. And on top of it, of course, Lindner continuing to stay in his mirrors too. There you see 3rd, 4th, and 5th come out of the last few turns. Ooh, and didn't see it on screen, but Lindner is getting a little closer to cross. So we could see a change for 4th on this last lap.
Well, it's going to be close, you know, with 1 lap to go. I mean, there's 1.5 miles. It is a long one, but it's so high speed. It's just really hard to make those gaps up, and that is a good little gap.
Absolutely is. As the 75 is going to have to watch his mirrors, but there is Felix Roy in that bright yellow, red, and black truck down into turn 6. Had a little bit of a scary moment there at the start of this heat, but since then it's been smooth sailing, and he's known exactly what he's doing. Takes the 91 out of turn 7. Just a couple more slow corners to go, and this one is under wraps.
Well, this is pretty much going to put the fork in this one for sure. Roy did a great job there. Drapkin smart, finished it out, and definitely Franks gave everything he could trying to catch up to him, but one spot off the qualifying. It's going to be rough. It's going to be a heck of an LCQ.
Roy takes the victory. Drapkin comes home second. Franks the last one to advance, and yeah, looks like, oh, what happened to Kirchmeier? He's down in 7th and make that 8th. He had some sort of incident, and I can't quite figure out what. Almost looks like he blew an engine or something.
Yeah,
very strange. Car limps home, and that means he's going to have to settle for 8th position, which will take us to the finishing order in a second. Dashley is having to take his sweet time to get to the line, wants to at least see the checkered flag, and he is on the lead lap. Ramsey winds up in 8th, so actually it's going to be 10th for Kirchmeier because he didn't reach the finish, it looks like. So Nicholas gets one spot gifted to him in the end. That'll be a little bit of a happy surprise for the 23 as there we go across. And that gives us our finishing order with Felix Roy taking the win and Zachary Drapkin winding up in the second position. After that, it's Lon Franks with Ryan Lindner and Kyle Cooper. It's Jake Hill in 6, followed by Christopher McCorkle, Ramsey, Dashley, and Kirchmeier. The rest of the field done with the heats. We go to the LCQ, and it's going to be Knowles with Lindner next to him. Miller starts in 3rd, and Daniel Aish in 4th. Jake Hill, P5. Aiden Irvin in 6. Inside of the next row, Magashik, followed by Ramsey. And Blank and Lester rounding out your 10-truck field. It is 4 to the feature, so 4 trucks that will advance from this one. A little bit more than what we saw in the heat races, but it's much shorter with only 4 laps to do it. So if you are 5th on down, it is time to hustle these trucks. Lindner taking his sweet time to get out on the track. And it looks like he is out there. So he is ready to go. So we just need to wait for the grid to count up to 2 minutes, and then they will be getting the lights up, and we will be on our way for this one. And they did reset the track a little bit. It's to 15% for this session. So it's a little bit worn in, but not a lot.
Yeah, it's still a little slick. That's what that tells me.
Exactly, and here you see them all gridded up, ready to go. Not enough speed to really get air over this first jump. They'll just be on the power and then flying over turn 1. That's when you'll see them start to get up to speed. And hopefully these drivers will keep their heads about them as they start to rev, because it looks like we've got just a few seconds left on the timer. So the first of the last chance qualifiers will decide who gets to go to the big show. As we wait for the green from Barney. And the green flag is out. The 099 doesn't get the greatest of starts. A little bit of a challenge from a blinking Ryan Lindner, who finally gets his, but it's going to be tough to pass in these last few corners unless he can elicit a mistake out of him. And coming through turns 10, 11, and 12, it looks like the 099 will be your LCQ winner. Victory for Zach Knowles, who is going to advance. Lindner gets through, Miller gets through, and Aish, everybody else, is now hanging up the helmet.
Well, that definitely was a a battle for sure here in the LCQ. But, Knowles, he rode textbook race, and that's what he wanted to do. Didn't have anybody, going with him. Linder coming up second there with Miller. Aish and Hill had a great battle. Unfortunately, the rest of the guys back there, it's going to be a rough one, and watching from the sidelines.
Yeah, there you see everybody fifth on down will not advance from here, but we already have the next group gridding up for the B main. And at the top of those, Rory Folsom has the pole on this one. Chaden Minder is going to be in second, and Kyle Cooper will start from third. Bryce Sundquist will start from fourth. After that, you've got Trenton Briley in fifth position. Christopher McCorkle starts to his outside. Scott Kerr, P7, followed by Nicholas Ween in eighth, Nicholas Dashley in ninth, and Christopher Plumley in 10th. Kirchmeier, with a strange incident at the end of his heat, puts him into 11th. What can he do from here is the question.
I don't know. He's pretty deep in the field back there. And if anything for history comes true, you got to be in the top 5 up here to even get up there to have a chance.
Yeah, I'm not hopeful, frankly, that he'll be able to do anything, but you never know.
Yeah.
And let's not forget about Plumley as well, a little bit out of position. So, Plumley's going to have a lot of hard work ahead of him, as he would have had a much better starting position. As the lights now come up, the engines start to rev. And the green flag is out. Off the line, the second place of Minder is much better. And in fact, he's going to go clear around the outside and take the lead by the first corner.
And a great jump up there by Minder, man. He timed that perfectly. He was in the right position at the right time. Folsom, Cooper, Sundquist. Look at that. Folsom gets passed by Cooper already.
From first to third, by the time they come out of turn 3, this does not bode well, as he needs to stay within the top 4. Let's hope that nobody else can get past him. Sundquist doesn't want that, although he's still battling as he starts to lose control and coming down into the corner. Looks like Briley's going to get ahead of him, maybe. He's got the inside into turn 7. No, but he has a bad bounce, and behind him, McCorkle sends him sideways, and that's going to send him backwards. That means somehow, despite the craziness, Bryce winds up back and forth.
Yeah, McCarkle had contact with a few more cars after that incident there. It's surprising that he was able and everybody else to stay on this lap here. Thought for sure somebody was going over him that one. Look at Plumley trying to sneak up the inside there too.
Dashley got a little bit of a hip check, and so did Plumley just now. McCorkle's having a bad day. He's back down to 8th position, as looks like Queen's going to be our last runner amongst them for the time being. But my goodness, what a start this has been for Dashley and Plumley, coming down into 1, 2, and 3 once again. They are just all spread out. That is Briley there in the white number 17. Sundquist behind him. First one not to advance currently. And Dashley right now starting from that 9th position, managing to get himself up to 6th. Just has an advancing spot in his sights.
And good run there by Briley. You can see him right now has a lot of guys fighting behind him. But unfortunately, not in that qualifying position yet. Oh, it looks like Foley trying to make a move to the inside.
Indeed, and this is going to be for the 2nd position. Folsom now on the outside, and he gets a huge hip check. That hit right on the suspension. He's got to be careful that he doesn't get damage from that, and he's going to cut back underneath the 873, but not enough speed there. Here comes Briley, seeing if he could use something, but he's way too hot over the berm. That slows him down behind them. It is side by side between Dashley and Plumley still.
Well, you can see he's got to keep his focus up on what's in front, but unfortunately he's got somebody who's definitely hounding him. Now, Dashley has got to hold off Plumley. Plumley trying to look for the inside moves here. You can see, but Dashley is just looking really good. Unfortunately, these two both had some bad early heat races. Now they're both, pretty equal, I would say. They're going to be fighting this whole race.
Unfortunately, neither of them are going to be fighting much longer unless they get more spots. because they're sitting in 5th and 6th. Oh, and it looks like a problem for Briley is going to gift both of them a spot, but now they have to fight to see who will advance. So far, it belongs to Plumley, who goes clear around the outside of turn 7. Somehow, he outgunned Dashley the long way around.
That just took me by surprise. I was talking about the possibility, and just like that, Plumley took advantage. I thought for sure it was going to be Dashley making the move, but Plumley, he found that trick deep in the bag.
Never give it up, and meanwhile, in front of them, battle for 3rd as well. Folsom and Cooper trying to sort that one out. They could also have issues here as we got one more lap to go, just like that, as Folsom nearly gets into the quarter panel of the 873. Thankfully, they do not spin.
Yeah, it looked like Briley was trying to collect himself, get some speed and get a good run there, but it's going to be close. But this is a 1.5 mile at track. It's a lot longer time you have to work on some of these corners, and we're seeing mistakes out there right now as the pressure gets turned up.
Folsom, even though he's in an advancing position, is trying really hard for this one. He's got to be careful that he does not chuck this away into the trash as he cuts back into 7. Oh, and here comes Plumley. He's going to fall to Plumley, who's actually going to get up to 3rd here. That is unbelievable.
Now that's the Plumley we're used to seeing right there. He's been really struggling for some reason the last couple rounds.
Oh, that's Folsom.
No.
Oh, and Dashley runs right into him. Oh, no. So Dashley gets sent down. Briley's going to be able to get a spot, and he gets back into the advancing positions. It's going to be Minder who takes the win here today from 2nd place. And the last chance qualifier, Cooper, is going to be able to retain 2nd place with Plumley hot on his heels, and Briley somehow into 4th position to make it through to the feature race. Holy cow.
Just nuts. Dashley drives the K-rail, does his barrel roll. But Minder, Coopers, Plumley, Briley, well, Minder, great start out there. Coopers, he just hung in there, was kind of quiet. But Plumley, Briley, oh my goodness, how did that just happen? Mind blown.
Wow, so there's our results for the last chance qualifier, the B main. That's going to take us to a quick break. We'll come back with the finale here of the evening in just a moment for the iRacing Short Course Nationals.
Hi everybody, it's Derek Perniciglio for Super Clean. But whether you work around the shop, the garage, or the home, spills are going to happen. And now, Super Clean introduces their new Super Clean floor absorbent into their new product line to make cleaning up spills faster and easier. This all-natural product comes in an easy-to-pour 3-pound shaker jug. Just shake out the amount you need over your spill, give it a few minutes to absorb, and then clean up in an instant. Unlike traditional clay products, this product is virtually dust-free and absorbs 4 times faster. Now, we break out our Super Clean cleaner and degreaser for a 1-2 punch to clean up the stain completely. You can pick up your own 3-pound shaker jug of all-natural Super Clean at AutoZone, and you can also check us out at superclean.com. Super Clean, super easy, super fast, super clean.
Welcome back here to Bark River International Raceway. It's the iRacing Short Course Series Nationals, and we are heading off into the feature race in a few moments. But first, we have a little bit of a warm-up, and also we want to give a chance to thank our sponsors, CBR Performance Products, AIM Sports Data, Super Clean, Dirt Sports World, Signature Propellers, Positive Beverage, and Smith Graphics. Huge thank you for helping make these broadcasts possible. And as we watch them warm up, last chance to really get adapted to this. And well, we talked all about how we didn't expect a whole lot of passing, and for the most part that came true in the heats. And then suddenly the B main gave us one of the most stunning races we've seen all season there.
I was a little shocked. I mean, I saw Plumlee in the back and I saw Dachelet. Said, there's no way these guys are going to get up there. And down to halfway through the last race, and craziness. All of a sudden, drivers started, colliding, hitting in there, and Plumlee just weaved his way through there. Dachelet was there as they battled, but unfortunately for Dachelet, didn't come out the way it is. But Plumlee, mind blown.
And you know what? Those skills are probably going to come in handy, you have to think, because he's going to be starting a little out of position still in the feature. So I'm curious to see how high exactly he can run now.
Yeah, and then how about Jaden Zane Minder just jumping down there and taking the lead? I mean, what a move. It's like, okay, he knows this track's hard to pass on. He says, I got to get out in front and I got to do it now.
And yeah, that decisiveness could definitely come in handy. And we'll see who uses it best here in just a moment, as we've got about a minute left in the warm-up. Doesn't count for much as far as who does what here, since not everybody is even on track right now. But for what it's worth, Connor Berry has 0.7 of a second ahead of everyone. So we've got more laps in this one, and we have the competition caution. Don't forget, that will affect how they run throughout this race. I got to think for someone like Berry, yes, he wants to control it here, Dave, but he doesn't want to use up his stuff in the first half.
Oh, no, and we've talked about this before. It's setting your car up for the first half of the race or the second half of the race. You're going to get out there, put everything to the max, get out front, and then you got the restart you got to worry about. There's a lot of guys been saving that truck, and like Minder we saw in that start, got a good one, got 2 positions right away. You never know. Connor's got to be smart at that. What I've seen of Connor usually sets the truck up for the second half of the race.
There we go. They now start to grid up for our feature, and it's going to be the biggest field of the evening with Connor Berry on the pole position. Josh Edmondson starts from second, and Felix Roy P3. Keaton Swain will begin from fourth, as Mason Prater will line up fifth. After that, Zachary Drapkin in sixth. Tom Grady starts from seventh, and Semino will line up in eighth. Lon Franks, the last two automatically advanced from our heats, will start from ninth. Zach Knowles from the LCQs into 10th. Zane Minder will start from P11. You've got Ryan Lindner in at 12th and Kyle Cooper in 13th. Tyson Miller starts from the 14th position. Christopher Plumlee, who's clearly fired up right now, is going to be starting from 15th. Daniel Aish in 16th. And the last one that manages to get through is Trenton Briley in the 17th spot. And they are all lined up out there, waiting for the engine start to rev, and the lights are up and the green flag is out. Not the best of starts from Connor Berry, but he quickly covers off the 58 as they fly over turn one. Little bit of door banging coming in the back of the field, but it looks like most of them are able to make it down to turn two. Let's see how they fare through this swift left-hander as a charge up the inside from Drapkin gets him a spot.
Yeah, I saw Drapkin go on the inside. He had Mason he was going to rev him by. Couldn't see who else he just got by there. I think it might have been,
I think it was Prater.
Prater, okay, it was Prater. Then he went up the inside. That was shocking that Prater left the door open. I was really shocked.
Yeah, absolutely. And oh my goodness, we got some bowling balls in the back sent in the corner. One of them is Plumlee, and somehow he gets out the other side despite sliding into the sides of his rivals. Semino had a bad jump between 5 and 6 rather, and he has been falling all the way back to 14th because of that. But look up at the front, the battle for third is on as Roy has Swain and Drapkin hot on his heels.
And you can see Drapkin trying to go the inside of Swain. And you also, Roy's going to feel a lot of pressure. He's got 2 drivers They're coming for him. Looks like, unfortunately, I think that was a bad turn for Drapkin. He lost momentum. But Swain, he's right there. He's just waiting for Roy to make a little mistake. But he's got this track dialed in. We've seen him win here multiple times.
And the day just keeps getting worse for Plumlee. He tried to avoid a wrecking Ryan Lindner, and that sent him spinning. And he's down to 16th. Lindner continues on in 17th after eventually got the truck back on the tires as we ride on board with Keaton here in the 4th position, looking to try and get to the podium spots. But Roy, who we already saw is pretty good with the defense, has not opened the door yet.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Is he going to open that door? I don't think so. Not by choice.
Swain's going to have to try and get tricky here. That is for sure.
Get the shoehorn out.
And he's got to be careful too, because Drapkin is right there. So if he makes a move and it fails and he slows himself up, the 56 is going to be leaping on top of him. And they come around to complete lap 2 now. Still Barry leads Edmondson by about 0.7 of a second, but he hasn't been pulling away as quickly as we saw previously.
Yeah, and I've seen some of the drivers, looking at the board, and some of the guys really deep in the field where the breakaway, there's been these top 5 trucks, really. They set the pace.
It really does look like that. Yeah, it's about 1.5 seconds on back to Tom Grady from Drapkin at this point. So we check out with Zach Knowles now in that mid-pack. He's chasing on Lon Franks for the 8th position, cuts back underneath him. Almost manages to get a run, but now as they break into 6, nope, he's not there.
Yeah, 6 is a good spot. You can set up for it, but after that, then it just becomes high speed, and it's, you got to set up and think a couple turns ahead, because you ain't going to pass him here.
Certainly not, and he's also got Minder in behind him. Each of these 3 are up 1 position as we look on the roof cam of Edmondson. At times, he's been only about 0.3 of a second behind Barry. So, yeah, he's making sure that Barry's going to have to work hard for this race win, even though he probably won't be able to do much in the championship, even if he does pass him. But these 3 are also teammates as well, so doubt there's going to be anything too wild happening.
Yeah, I'll run it for the Jim Beaver Esports, but I've noticed that Connor and also Felix Roy run the original, wraps that they have. Connor runs that one in real life, the CBR Performance Products one for sure. Now we're on board with Drapkin. It's a great shot up there. You can see the top 4 trucks in front of him really making a good run. You see those gaps now between, Felix Roy and Josh Edmondson. But Swain, he is not turning the pressure off, nor is Drapkin.
This is going to be a close fight, it looks like. And they're getting close to the competition caution, too. Let's not forget. This is the end of lap 4, and it's the end of lap 5 where they'll bring out the yellow. Everybody will get chucked back together. And that's good news for some of those guys that had problems. Lindner, Plumlee, who had a problem on lap 1 or 2, I believe it was, coming through this portion right here. And across the line to start lap 5. Barry still only 0.5 of a second ahead of Edmondson. Looks like Roy is able to put some distance between himself and Swain now, so at least he's got that.
Yeah, it looks like Drapkin is trying to reel in Swain just a little bit too. There's little sections where each guy's a little faster than each other. They'll get the gaps, but we'll see them get right back up on their bumpers.
Over the jumps and towards the fast chicane, using every inch of the track here. And then as they slow down into turn 6, Drapkin just about getting underneath them. Oh, as they've got some passing between Prater and Grady, side by side. Oh, and side by side for the lead as well. Edmondson somehow gets a nose in through turn 7. When did he catch him for that one? Doesn't stick. But now he's at least got Barry on his heels.
That might have put something in Barry's head, but the kid's pretty much, used to this. He's used to pressure his whole life. He's been racing, cars, off-road vehicles, and, that's nothing new to him.
Absolutely, and as Edmondson continues to look back and forth. He managed to get beside him through 11 and 12. Let's see if he does the same through 2 and 3. Doesn't quite look like it. Of course, he may be wanted that position for the competition caution, which we should see here pretty soon, because it's the end of lap 5, and it has not come out yet.
Yeah, kind of shocking there. Well, you know, Josh Edmondson, you know, he's raced a lot of motocross, so he sees things a little bit different, kind of like Connor. He's grown up in a car. Josh, when you got 2 wheels, you know, you got to be more careful you're going to put it. With 4 wheels, you get a little bit more confidence.
Yeah, so much more grip, I'm sure.
Yes.
4 wheels out there, and
all 4 are pulling.
yeah, that's a good point as well. Well, right now, as they fly through 9, still no competition caution that we have seen or heard of, and that's going to be a disappointment for all those at the back of the field. Good news for Plumlee fans. He's already caught up and passed a couple. He's back into 14th, but obviously not the greatest to finish on the... Oh, and now we get the caution flag. So it was the end of lap 6 for them on this one. So they're going to slow up. Now everybody accordions back together. Nobody a lap down, so this should be a short caution.
Well, yeah, you know, they're going to come around this next time and hopefully go green, you know, because it is a long way around. Now, this is going to be the key right here. These top 5 drivers right now, it's going to be all... I think we're going to see 2 and 3 wide going through the first turn again, like we saw earlier. But we're also going to see a lot of movement in the rear. Guys are going to shuffle around. Some talented guys stuck back there.
I wonder what Edmondson's going to be up to here on this restart, because not only at the start did he challenge, but then later there in that first stint, he managed to get side by side a couple times. Is there anything he could try and pull that might give him a chance to get an overtake done?
I mean, pretty much what he did last time on the start was, you know, key right there. But unfortunately, the timing with Barry was there also. He's got to hope that Barry's going to have a little lag time. But he's already knows the spot that he can put the truck to challenge Barry. So he's going to try and put that truck there again. This time, hopefully he's thinking he's going to be about a wheel forward and not allow Barry to come down and take the line back away.
And they're just about done with this pace lap, then it'll be back to green. Everybody in together, and it looks like they're going to start early. Green flag is out. Connor Barry accelerates away down into turn 9, and behind them, aggressive moves already. It looks like that might be Drapkin able to get through. No, he's cut back by the 21 of Swain. Goes underneath him once again, but Swain out accelerates him, holds on to that 4th position.
Yeah, you can see Barry was definitely right on that on the start again. And Edmondson, he already knows the spot he can get up onto him. But he's got to hope these guys behind him, because there's a hungry pack with Roy, Swain, Drapkin. There's some fast dudes who are coming up on you.
And Swain's already trying to overtake Roy for that podium spot, but he can't get it done. Down through 4 and 5. Behind him, Drapkin saw that move, thinks maybe he can take advantage of that, but he's also got Prater on his mud flaps as they fly down through turn 6. Still nobody able to make an overtake amongst them, but it is almost literally nose to tail here.
And Prater's right up the inside of Drapkin. You know, they've had a lot of contact in the past, a lot of racing. It's looking pretty clean there. Prater not trying to lean on him too heavy. And Drapkin able to slip down, but Prater is going to switch it back up. He'll have the inside line. He's going to get the position this time. He's going to fill the hole, and Drapkin is going to try and answer right back.
Excuse me, pardon me, coming through, and that's going to give him 5th position. That certainly helped Keaton Swain, as he's now got himself a gap, can focus forward on the 91 in front of him. But man, they have not separated this time on this restart. Look at how close the entire field is together.
Yeah, it's amazing that Barry's just starting to pull away.
As the only one really that's pulling away. It's about 0.8 of a second here in this first lap back. Everybody else behind them is within about 0.7 or closer. Semino in the meantime, who sits in the 10th position, is going to get back up on Franks. See if he can take that spot. Nothing doing there. Behind him, see some side-by-side between Briley and Plumley. Plumley gets eased out as well with a little hello from the 17.
Yeah, definitely. He's going to get a little bump there. Oh, car goes sideways. Almost on the lid. Could not get a read on the number. Was that Grady?
Yeah, that was Grady. He was side-by-side with Drapkin, made contact midair. And Grady honestly should be thankful that he didn't go for a tumble and it just got turned around.
Yeah, very lucky. It's hard to say that, but that would have definitely ended his day for sure.
So we watch from Swain's perspective. He's caught up to Roy. It seems like when Keaton is not being challenged from behind, he's actually pretty fast. But we keep making this point, and we're going to beat this dead horse. It is hard to pass here.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's definitely hard. I mean, we know it can be done. We've seen it happen. But the stars have to align. The moon's got to be in retrograde, whatever they call it.
Well, let's see if he's a Capricorn or is he a Sagittarius today. As Felix Roy is still playing defense. We know that he knows how to play good defense out here, as he does not leave the door open for Keaton down through turn 7. Jumping over towards turn 8. He's going to have to do something a little bit more aggressive than that, and that's too aggressive on the berm as he gets up on 2 wheels and just about sends it up and over.
Yeah, he definitely got that thing just almost sideways there. It was a nice correction. You know, and that's the other thing, too. He's fast. Sometimes you go over that step of being fast and out of control.
So
he just proved it.
Once again, the top 4 pull away a little bit. And we're down to 2 laps to go, so the time is starting to run out. It doesn't look like Edmondson has the pace on Barry. He's got to hope for a mistake if he wants the win here today. Otherwise, I have to check and see what the point situation is, whether or not this will mean Connor will wrap it up or if he'll take it to the final round as he flies up and over the jump once again. Look at the distance between himself and Josh. It's about a second currently.
Well, this is what I talked about, setting the truck up for the first half of the race, second half of the race. Obviously, I said Connor, second half of the race, he's gotten quicker, and that's the key right there. Plus, you've used more gas. The truck gets a little lighter. How did you set your tires up? Suspension, everything's just so critical.
Coming down into turn 9, behind them, it looks like Keaton Swain is back to the rear of Felix Roy, and despite getting his nose in, can't get the job done. Switches back through turn 10. He's going to see the white flag. Now's the time. You got to make a move. You got to get something to stick.
Well, white flag racing is always exciting for sure. You got to turn it up. If you've got a spot in mind, you're going to make a move. You only got one more chance at it.
Flying in turns 2 and 3. He's there, but he's not close enough yet. He's got good grip off the corner. Coming up behind the 91. He's going to have to try and get himself into the right spot. And he's very fast, but a little sideways through 4 and 5. Very sideways, almost clips the tire over the jump. Thankfully does not, but he's too far away.
Yeah, Swain knows, doing everything he can. He's literally, without making contact, he's just trying to give every position. Kind of how we watched Drapkin early on. He was looking for different rooms, and unfortunately it slowed him down when he was looking for different lines there.
Meanwhile, here's the 28. He's won the lion's share of victories in this season, and he's going to add another to the list as Connor Barry exits out of turns 11 and 12 and wins the feature race here at Bark River.
Well, with Swain being back and forth, this might actually have changed the points quite a bit with Barry. It might have possibly wrapped this up. We'll have to see with fast qualifying, with winning your heat race. It's all kinds of points you got to add up.
What a day for Plumley. He winds up in 10th, which is still +5, but definitely could have been more considering he lost a lot of work there early on in this race. As we head to the finishing results, Barry takes the victory Edmondson in second, and the podium rounded out by Felix Roy, exactly where they began. Keaton Swain as well, finishing where he started from fourth position. Drapkin up one into fifth, and at times was challenging for more, but couldn't quite seem to find much in it, as Mason Prater finishes sixth, Zach Knowles finishes seventh, and Lon Franks finishes eighth. And it's Bryce Simoneau in ninth position. Plumley from 15th to 10th with a lot of bad luck today, unfortunately, and more could have been on the cards based on the pace that we saw. Briley, though, 17th to 11th. That's our hard charger, I believe, for the day in that car. It's Tyson Miller who finishes in 12th place, as Zane Minder is 13th and Ryan Lindner is 14th. Tom Grady, another one that's just having a bit of a bad time, 7th down to 15th. Daniel Ash, 16th, and Kyle Cooper wraps up the field in 17th place. I think we've got our winner ready to talk to us, Connor Berry. And Connor, congratulations on the win. This one, a bit of a challenge at times. It looked like Josh was making sure that you had to keep an eye on the mirrors, especially in the first stint.
For sure, man. I mean, it was just so much fun, and me and Josh are all on teammates, so we knew that we would be clean and just go out there and just have some fun. Me and Josh were just being smooth and smart, and we knew once we could get the gap on third that we would start the battle, and we for sure saw it, especially right before the competition caution. We were side by side for a bit, and yeah, it was just awesome, and it's cool to see us go 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, I was just going to ask, seeing Jim Beaver Esports sweep the podium, is there a sense of team pride in that? Do you guys pay attention to those sort of things?
For sure. I mean, tonight was huge. We went 1, 2, 3 in qualifying, and we won all 3 of our heats and went 1, 2, 3 in the main event. So it was just awesome, and yeah, it's just awesome.
That is going to be something to brag about, certainly, when you get back to the break room later on. But you've got one more, and I actually need to double check and see what the points look like after this. Have you wrapped it up with this victory, or are you going to have to finish things up at Crandon? Because
of the drop race, from my understanding, I clinched it with this win. But it's not official yet, and I'm going to round 10, just going to do my thing and try to get the win.
Well, again, congratulations. It's been an amazing season to watch. Who helped make it happen?
Sure, I want to give a big thanks to Jim Beaver Esports. I mean, it's just so awesome that just how we all just are a team, and we get each other to a speed where we can do on this tonight. And I want to give a big thanks to CBR, General Tire, Vision Wheel, Next Level Racing, Positive Energy, all of my admins and staff, and you guys for this stream.
Well, thank you very much. That was Connor Berry in the 28, taking victory, not just in his heat, but in the feature. As up next, Dave has caught up with second place Josh Edmondson.
Josh, what a great run. The heat races set you up for the main event. But let's talk about the first half of the race. Definitely the challenges there. You showed Connor a fender a few times there. Why don't you talk us through it?
Yeah, it was a good night. That was a fun race for sure. Connor was really fast, so it's really hard to get next to him and try and make a move. I got close a couple times. Didn't really have a move that would stick though, so just kind of hung back there. Also, not being a part of these guys' championship, I didn't really want to get in the way and do anything dumb. So I'm really happy to come away with a P2 overall tonight.
Well, and then on the restart there, I mean, were there some thoughts in your head? It was a good battle on the first start, but on the restart, that was the question. Were you looking for a little spot there?
Yeah, I wish I would have got a better jump. I kind of didn't get a great jump and then made a couple mistakes that first lap, and that just gave him that little bit of room he needed to run his line and not making mistakes, which he did. So congrats to him. I had nothing for him that second half and was just trying to search for lines. Found some stuff at the very end, but don't think I would have been able to get around him either way. So.
Well, what is your philosophy of setting the truck up? You know, I know the top three, you guys, you're all teammates. Do you share the setups? All right, we're going to set it up so we can battle, you know, hardcore in the first? Or is it going to be, all right, I want to set it up so I can go faster in the second half of the race?
Yeah, we definitely all work on the setups together, and we kind of prefer different things, and we run a little bit different setups. I think Felix and I might have been on the same tonight, and Connor, they're not far off. But yeah, you can set them up more towards the end of the race, and I know that's what Connor likes. It's definitely one of his stronger points. So yeah, I'm going to have to work on that for the next races for sure.
Well, it was a great race tonight. P2, you came out, you showed your speed, and I know you got a great team to thank.
Yeah, absolutely. Shout out to Jim Beaver Esports, everybody on the team, work on the sets. It's been fun lately. Looking forward to this World Championship coming up, and then all the sponsors for the team, Next Level Racing, Rigid Industries, Dirtfish, Vision Wheels, and everybody else. Thanks.
Good job, Josh Edmondson, everybody. Second place.
That takes us to third, Felix Roy, who managed to complete that sweep of the Jim Beaver Esports podium. But Felix, I don't know if you have a little brother, but it looked like Keaton made you understand what it's like to have one.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Keaton, he was there, you know, and he was definitely clean with me. Show his nose a couple times. We battled, and it was pretty fun.
Yeah, things got pretty intense there a few times, but that I was talking to Connor about that sweep throughout, not just in the feature itself, but also all three of you winning your heats. I mean, do you guys at any point come into these races thinking that in your head, like, yeah, we can do this, or was this that just kind of happened?
Oh, yeah. I mean, we know Connor and Josh was really fast, and I came here, and, you know, couple guys are fast, like Keaton, Zab Drapkin, and I saw Mason Prater too. So, you know, it's all fast guys, and just have a good lap time in qualifying and won the heat, and just started third in the feature and trying to haul off my spot, you know. And good job to them guys finishing 1, 2, 3, and yeah, looking forward to do that next round too.
It's off to Crandon for the finale. Last time you guys were here is at the start. That's going to be, I believe, our longest lap of the season. Are you looking forward to heading off there?
You know, Crandon is definitely one of my worst track, if it's not my worst. You know, I'm good at Crandon short because it's like a dirt oval track, you know, all left-hand turn banking. But Crandon long, I'm not too sure. You know, I'll definitely put a little bit of practice in there and trying to get a podium, because I know I had that podium streak going on for like 5 rounds, and last round got flipped, and, you know, it's just part of racing.
I'm glad that you got a good attitude about that. That just happens sometimes. But anybody that you want to thank that helped get the 91 onto the top 3 today?
Oh, yeah, definitely thanks to all my teammates, Josh, Connor, and Cam out there working on sets and building some good stuff. I'd like to thank my sponsor, too, Case Load Royale, my grandparents, and my girlfriend, and you for the good broadcast.
Thank you very much. That was Felix Roy, third place finisher here. And Dave, we've got one more to go in only 2 nights' time. If you're a driver, are you glad to have it this quickly when it's back to back within the same week, or do you want a break in there when you have it coming this quick?
I mean, of course, if you're going for the championship, it's kind of cool to get you're already in the groove. You already got that feeling, but I also don't want it to end. You want it to kind of prolong that, get to savor.
Exactly. All over a little too quickly sometimes, but yes. We are going to close out. Again, thank you to the sponsors before we leave: CBR Performance Products, AIM Sports Data, Super Clean, Dirt Sports World, Signature Propellers, Positive Beverage, and Smith Graphics. A huge thank you to everyone behind the scenes at iRacing Short Course Series to help make tonight possible. And of course, thank you to our team this evening: Dougie Beard, Nicholas Weatherby, Ryan Bauer, and Dave Arnold. Our gratitude to the tireless efforts of those at Podium Esports, Ryan Barrett, Gary Sexton, and John Theodore. And make sure and tune in for the season finale when we head back to Crandon. I'm Joe Peak. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the track.